Hello, hello, it's Tash Ro.
Welcome to or welcome back to
It's Saturday.
your personal self-care pod where you can escape the work week and unwind with your two besties.
No matter what day of the week it is, but for us,
It's
Saturday. Yay.
Welcome to the 100th episode.
Oh my gosh, back where it all started.
Yes. Damn, I miss this. Like
I love it
at the beginning of the pod, like it was just such a core memory, like driving here, parking across the street, coming in, Matt helping us set up because we had no idea what we were doing at the beginning.
No idea. I was like, I remember literally being like to Matt, like we decided we're gonna do this podcast, and I'm like, so like, babe, like, will you edit the podcast for us? And he was like, no. But I will teach you how to edit. And like, I remember that being such a foreign concept to me like 2 years ago, and to see how far we both come is
It's crazy.
Even
just like at the beginning, I remember like we needed his help every 5 seconds. Like
oh my
we would
god,
be like,
we used to call
he would be like editing. He'd be like editing, and we'd go and be like, hey, just a second, like a quick question. He'd come, and then he would be like, okay guys, blah blah blah, and then he'd go back and sit down, and then 2 seconds later he'd be like, hey, actually,
how do we turn
this
this
on?
to like color code like all the segments in Adobe, and we would edit it together, and then after a bit I'm like, wait, I don't need you here anymore. Like, you're the best emotional support, but like, don't need you here right now. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, 2 and a bit years ago. How many months ago? Let's pretend like we have a toddler.
Yeah.
12 plus 12 is 24 plus 2 is 26 months ago.
Yeah.
We started a Saturday pod.
Crazy.
And it's been 100 episodes. And I'm just so proud of us.
It's been crazy.
It's been a journey.
It's been a journey. And I was like looking back at all the episodes today, just kind of like seeing how we started, seeing the evolution of the thumbnails, like seeing all of that.
Oh my God. Please, in this moment now, we're going to put our first thumbnail here.
Which I created using
Which,
PowerPoint.
No shade,
PowerPoint. Guys, okay.
I loved it. I remember being like, that's fucking sick. I fucking love this shit. Like, so stoked for all my friends and family to see this fucking thumbnail. Like, let's go.
I remember. Okay, so when we first came up, and we'll talk about how we came up with the like concept of the podcast, but I remember coming up with the logo, and it was like this shitty logo that I made on PowerPoint, and it was like this S. You know those S's, those like Superman,
like
super S's that you would draw? It was kind of like that, and it was like, I don't know, I thought it was so cool, and it had all these like lines and stuff, and I sent it to you, and you were out one night, and I like sent it to you. I'm like, what about this? And you're like, holy shit, Romina, like this is the coolest thing ever. And like looking back at it now, I'm like, this is so ugly.
Oh my God. Like, literally, like it wasn't seamless around our body. It was like chopped, like as if you like took a cheese grater around us. Like, it was all chippy choppy. But like,
do you remember the first one I sent where it was like an
oh,
S?
yes.
And then there was no
not
picture.
Not even us.
We weren't even in it. It was literally just a big S.
Find
and
it was
it was so bad. And then after I was like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna like try something new. So I literally took a picture of us, and I like removed the back. Help to make the logo. Yeah, the logo that we have today. So I'm gonna.
I love this. Yeah, I'm gonna favorite these. This is insane. I even remember the very, very first one too. You did it like on Paint or some shit.
Yeah,
like something like this, and I was like, I see the vision. Like,
yeah, I literally just
100%.
drew it out. And then so the logo evolution was key. But I feel like we've just learned so many skills starting a podcast. I honestly think that everyone at one point should start a podcast, even if it's for a few episodes, because first of all, just like the interviewing skills that you learn from just running an episode where you're asking guests questions is like, you can apply those skills to like everyday life.
Every day, yeah, 1000%.
Obviously a lot of technical skills, creativity, brainstorming, teamwork. Like, there's just so many lists of skills that we've learned throughout this process, and it's like kind of crazy.
Yeah, think of how good you are on Canva now. Like, I literally used to look at Matt on Adobe, and I'd be like, that looks insane. And he obviously does way more intricate things than I do. But I'm still just proud of myself to be able to like know how to do what I do now because I had no idea.
Of course.
Yeah, it was all like Matt taught me how to do everything.
And just like even like small things like how to convert files to different types. And like we've had issues where we're like, oh, we have to use this other tool called Handbrake. And like all these things that like people wouldn't even know what that is.
Just a lot of lessons. Remember we used to joke because at the beginning, obviously there were so many things we had to learn and we'd make stupid mistakes. Like whether that was like, I don't know, like forgetting the SD card or like not knowing like the settings for 4K. And then we record our whole podcast in 4K and we're like, wait, like how
why is this 100 gigs?
Yeah, why is this 100 gig episode? I don't get it. Just all these lessons, you guys. Yeah. And it's honestly so funny looking back on. Or like there was that one time we like just like lost the footage and we had to re-record the episode, half the episode in like our same outfits in this room.
It was in this room. It was a Mean Girl episode.
Yes.
I'll never forget that.
I will never forget that.
Or the time we accidentally muted the mics, like the wrong mics because you have to like mute.
That was like one of our first or second episodes.
It was when we first got this like Zoom recorder and we just didn't understand it. But
yeah, I did not know what we were
crazy.
doing.
It's like,
oh my gosh.
But I'm proud of us.
I'm proud of us.
Come a long way.
I feel like we should do a little rewind though, because I think not everyone that listens now like knows us personally, which is kind of cool too. Like there's really some people that we don't know you, but we love you and we appreciate you listening to us. That's really cool. And people have been asking because we put out a little Q&A and people are wondering like how we became friends.
Yeah, so many people ask that question.
Yeah.
Like, wait,
how did we become friends?
How do you guys know each other? Okay, so people actually don't know this. A lot of people think I went to Carleton.
I thought for so long
you're like, wait, you didn't you go to Carleton?
I think it was like 2 years into our friendship. I'm like, did you go to Carleton?
I think I'm the only one out of our friends maybe that didn't go to Carleton. I think
Shauna went to
from Ottawa U and I just knew a few people from high school. I went to high school with one of our friends, Saman, and he's in the frat. So like that's kind of my connect into like the friend group and like meeting Farzad. But I've obviously Farzad is kind of like how I got introduced to your friend group. But we definitely met each other at a few different like parties and things at the frat like house before.
Yeah, probably before. But like the first time I remember like hanging out with you and meeting you like before we were like friends was the Kasig formal.
Yes.
They're one of their big ones. It was the first one that I went to like while I was dating Matt. So this is like my first like time like as his date. So it was like my new relationship with him. We'd only been dating a few months at that point. And then
I remember
you had been dating for us. It was kind of new for you too, right? It was 2016. So what would have that
2016 been? Would have been a year after we were dating.
So we were like dating for a little bit. And then we had mutual friends like Hannah, Camilla, where like we all kind of been intertwined. Yeah, Reagan through like our boyfriends. And I remember that night I spent a lot of time with you guys and I just like, okay, I'm just going to boost you for a second. Like you guys, when you meet Romina, like she just radiates this energy that's just like unmatched. And when you first meet her, she makes you feel like you've known her your entire life. And she makes you feel so comfortable, like so seen, like she just like can vibe with anyone. And so I was just like, oh my God, like I just like had so much fun with this girl. Like met you and immediately loved you.
I was the same. Like Tash too has this like very vibrant personality, but also she's such a cool girl that you're like, at first I was a little bit like, shit, like this girl's so cool, like I have to act so cool in front of her, like she's so tall, she's so beautiful, like all this stuff. But then you actually get to know her and you're like, wait, like she's so nice,
weird.
She's so nice.
She's just so
she's
weirdo.
so funny.
No. Okay, so we have like a drunken night, whatever, and then it was like a week or two later, and I think our main mutual friend at that time was probably Hannah. Like you and Hannah were pretty close. Me and Hannah and Reagan were really close, and
we went to like Lieutenant's Pump or something.
People went to Lieutenant's Pump back in the day. I've never liked this bar, but people were like, come to Lieutenant's Pump. People are hanging out. I don't know if there was a sports game.
There was some kind of sports game. It was either hockey or soccer or something.
So we go to this dungeon, and I see like Hannah's there and Romina's there, and in my head it was kind of like we had like a one night stand. Like my night was so fun, but there's no way she's gonna remember my name. There's no way she's gonna remember me. And I go and you're just like, Natasha, like, oh man, hi, like giving me the same exact energy that you gave me when we were like wasted at Kasich Formal. And I'm like, oh my God, she like remembers me. Like I didn't think she'd remember me. Like that's so sweet.
Meanwhile, I'm like, I hope she's not like, who the frig is this?
And from that point, I was just like, this girl is fucking cool. And
we had a lot of fun together. I feel like that was like one of the things that like bonded us at the beginning is like whenever I saw you, I knew I was gonna have a good time. I knew it was gonna be fun.
And then too, what happened after that? It was that was 2016, and then like time goes on, and then we ended up buying our house, which was like a 10-minute walk from your guys' house.
Yes.
So we had like a time period where we were also neighbors, and I think when we became neighbors, that like really accelerated our friendship.
And I remember when we first got Nova, because you had gotten Stark like maybe like 6 or 7 months or something before, and I like messaged you and I was like, hey, like I'm getting a dog too, and like you gave me so much advice. You guys gave us your little like
the playpen. Yes.
And like
do you
just
still have that? Do I have that?
I gave it back to you. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Like, where is that?
And like you gave me other stuff, and like you gave me so much advice about like training and stuff, and I just remember being like, oh, that's so nice. And then obviously when we first got Nova, you brought Stark over.
Stark was the first dog that Nova met. Period.
Yeah, it literally.
I was gonna say she's a great dog, so there is probably some sort of connection there.
100%.
With that.
And so we would definitely hang out all the time because proximity honestly makes such a difference.
It does, yeah. It just sets the baseline. Like now, like obviously you don't live as close, and I still see you as often. But like when you have people that live in your area, it's like
a no-brainer. Like I would literally text you sometimes. We would come here, guys. Like me and Faraz would be drinking on like a random Friday night and like send them a snap, and then you would call me and be like, come over. Or like we would do the same and we'd randomly hang out. So
and it's nice when you live close enough where you don't have to drive. You can just like walk, bike.
We literally biked over one time. I remember. So that's kind of how we became friends. But definitely I would say like we were always like good friends, but then we like really became close, I would say around like COVID. Like it was like
2020
was like here. It was like when we became really close. Like we were always kind of like, oh, I love her, but like we like set our friendship in stone during COVID.
That's my best.
That's my bestie. That's my bestie.
So 2020 2022 is when we got really, really close. And then, it was around summer 2022 when we really just got into, we both like realized we both really like podcasts, like similar vibes. Like we were big on Giggly Squad.
Yep.
At the time, I call her Daddy. And we both like, we're just always laughing around each other. Like we just have, our sense of humors are just really compatible. And I feel like we just like egg each other on a lot. Like, we just like, I don't know.
And the way we chat too, like sometimes we'd be like, we should record this. Like we always would make that joke of like, we're so funny, we should record this.
Like why don't we just get drunk and pick up some microphones and just record it? And if it's cringy, we'll delete it. And if it's good, then maybe we'll do something with it.
And I will say Matt at the time, like too, was very like, he was very supportive, and he was like, yeah, guys, because obviously he like did all the video editing and stuff, and he had the equipment, so he's like, guys, like if you want to do this, like
just use my stuff,
just do it. And I feel like that really helped. And then we decided to film our first episode.
But wait, the time when it kind of like came to like, I remember this vividly. We were at we were at Moxie's for a wind down Wednesday.
And it was just us two. Yes.
It was just us two, and I won't forget this Moxie's because it was so fucking loud in this restaurant. Me and Romina were sitting this close, and we had to yell and scream.
At one point we were texting each other because we couldn't. It was so loud.
I can't fucking hear you. And I had, for some reason too, like I remember like my throat was like, I just already was losing my voice, and then I had to like yell at you at this, and I was like, bro, like I'm coming out with no voice tomorrow. But that was a night when we really just like sat down, we drank, we like talked about it, and we're like, hey, let's just like set a date like next week or whatever, and like let's do it. Let's like just talk and figure it out.
And it wasn't until like that was the Moxie's night. Was that after or before Canada Day? Because
that was before. We didn't have a name yet.
We didn't have a name. We knew that what we wanted to talk about was just like girl chats, lighthearted, like fun, work hard, play hard. Like that was kind of our mentality, is like we're both these like hardworking girls, but we also like to have fun and blah blah blah. So we knew like the concept of it. And then it wasn't until Canada Day that ended up being on a Friday that year, and we had a lot of friends coming in from like Toronto and stuff, and they stayed. And then
and it was one of the first like big Canada Days, like because COVID had been happening, right? So we hadn't really had like a big banger, and this was like the banger of all bangers. Like I think like Reagan and Samir surprised us that year. Kate and Zach, Nicole and Dell, like all the homies were up.
Exactly. And so we partied hard on Canada Day, and then the next day it was kind of like everyone's hungover, and Tash was like, come over, we're still drinking, like people are all still here. So we show up. And I remember like the vibes were kind of like everyone was so hungover. And tired. Then literally Tash kept being like, but guys, it's Saturday. Like it's Saturday. We gotta like drink. It's Saturday. And I remember looking at her, and like we had like a aha moment. Like, we both like looked at each other and we're like, it's Saturday. And like that's how it became.
That's how it became.
And that's how she wrote.
That was July
2022.
and we released our first episode like a month later, the long weekend. I remember because our first episode came out when I was in Regina.
I remember that.
My freaking family reunion.
Yeah.
And I just remember like that was the weekend came out. I was like, well, I'm in Regina, but we're gonna launch this podcast.
And we actually recorded, and it took us 2 weeks to release it because we were like, should we release it?
That's what we did at the beginning too. We were like 2 weeks, we were like behind.
Yeah.
So we did that for a little bit because we we're like, oh, we'll bank an episode, record an episode. But then we're like, okay, well, if we want to talk about current and relative things, like we can't do that. So a lot of people ask me too. That's a question I get. It's like, do you guys like record on Saturday and then post it? Like, no, guys, like we record usually on like a Tuesday or Wednesday is like our sweet spot. So then that gives us time to like edit. Make content for the week, like
make all the promo stuff.
Exactly.
Like
and then on Saturday we like release all that stuff, and the following week we release all that stuff. Yeah. So it's not like the day of kind of thing. That would be crazy.
Imagine just like every Saturday morning I was here.
Oh my God.
Crazy.
No,
thank you.
I'm not working on a Saturday, dude. No. Absolutely not.
But so that was kind of how like the podcast like idea came about. And I will say at the beginning, like releasing that first episode, I was so nervous because
oh my God,
I was like, first of all, like me and you aren't that like, we use social media and like we'll make like
we're not like
stories.
Popular Instagram girlies.
We're not posting a bunch on Instagram. I'm not videotaping myself. Like I would say out of our friends, Reagan is the most like social
if Reagan
media.
made a podcast, I'd be like on brand. Like, for sure, no problem.
So for us, it was kind of like I'm not really posting myself. I'll like post like a random photo when I go on vacation, and that's about it. Like and then sometimes pictures of my dog. Yeah, but I'm not taking videos of myself. So it was really strange like experience to be like, hey, I'm recording something now. Everyone can listen to it. I find too, like now that you say that, it just makes you think like I find I keep like my personal Instagram and the pod Instagram like so separate. Like I very rarely will like post one of the reels like to my story on the pod and like or on my own account, and like I don't know if that's a good or bad thing because like maybe people that don't follow the pod yet would see it and follow it, but like for some reason I just like want them to be these two separate entities, and I don't like when they cross over too much. I know. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah. I know. It's like, not that it's this big secret. It's like in my handle, like it's Saturday pod, click on it. It's right there. But then I just want people to like have to click on it and they choose to go there from my page versus me like pushing all this content to them from my pod account. Yeah. So actually guys, I want to show you something because yes, we have these really nice microphones now, but we were like two broke girls that didn't have equipment. I was bumming off my boyfriend at the time, not even my fiance, not even my husband, my roommate at the time, all his equipment. And so we had these mics that normally you just click to yourself, but we wanted like to have like microphones. So literally I had these like sticks that I got at the Dollarama, and I took some marker and I wrote "It's Saturday Pod" on them. And we couldn't even like cut off the ends. Like they were like stabbing us in the foot. Like so we would like hold these, get splinters, our hands would bleed, we'd get blisters. Yeah. Things. But we were committed to our little fuzzy microphones. And if you go way back in like the archives of our old reels, like you'll see us sitting here on this beanbag on the floor with these wooden sticks. And we would be staring at the camera like this. And we would talk to each other like this and we'd like laugh while looking at the camera. It was so cringy. Shout out to Fahad for honestly, giving us that was like a pivotal moment when he was like, why don't you guys look at each other? And I was like, oh. I'm like, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's not like a move. It's not like we're reporting the news. No. Like, we're just like, it's not that deep. Today on It's Saturday. Like, now when I look back to those reels, I cringe. I very much cringe. But the advice is if you're not looking back on your work and cringing, then you're not growing. Exactly. So, then wow, I'm that's great advice. Yeah. Right? Did you just come up with that? No. Fahad said it to us. But yeah, so and then you're probably wondering, well, wait, how did we get these fancy microphones, this fancy audio system? We still use Matt's camera. Thank you. But some advice I would give if anyone is starting like a podcast or just like some sort of like business or something like that, we just like right away, like we started this in August, and by November we had our first merch drop. Yeah. And it took a lot of work and again a lot of learning. Like we'd never had dropped merch before. I remember I had to make like this form for people to fill out because we didn't know how many, because obviously we're not going to just buy a ton of sweaters and then not sell them. So I was like, okay, let's put like an inventory, like people have to fill this out and then we'll order them. I wanted to have options for like colors and stuff, and we had to find a manufacturer. Anyway, we jumped through a lot of hoops, and actually it's cute because
2 years ago today, I got on my Snapchat memory. We were taking our photo shoot.
Yeah, we were at the photo shoot. I saw that today too, and I was like, that's kind of cool that it was like literally 2 years ago, and today. It was like on the 100th episode.
Really cool. So we made some sweaters, which was great because everybody wants a nice crew neck sweater with our logo, and we sold a decent amount, and we were able to buy some equipment.
Like we pretty much took all the money that we took from that.
Oh yeah, we didn't like pocket any of that. We just put it right back into the pod, and I'm so glad we did because we use these microphones every week. We have a third one for when we have a guest. We bought like mic stands so we don't have to hold them because for a bit we were always holding them, and I was like, my hands are so sore.
We're getting carpal tunnel.
We're getting carpal tunnel from this shit. I'm like, I can't have that happen.
So happy we bought mic stands. I was like, thank God.
Yeah. So we did, that was our first merch drop, and since then we've done like an exclusive one for Escapade. Those I wore that tank top at the cottage weekend.
I still wear it. Fires would wear it too.
It's such good quality,
dude. Everyone wears it. Like it's such good quality. The sweaters are really good quality.
Yeah, I wear my sweater all the time.
We have our tote bags that we made so much of that we were giving out to guests when they came on.
I like that we do that.
We'll definitely have to do another merch drop soon.
I know people were like at the cottage, so I was wearing the shirt and the sweater, and this guy Steph, who's so sweet, he's from, oh my god, where's he from can't remember, he's from somewhere else. Anyways, like, did you bring merch with you? Like, I would buy one of these. And I was like, honestly, man, I did not. We don't do it that way, but it's just nice to hear like that kind of feedback.
If you guys want us to do another merch drop, let us know like what type of merch that you'd be interested in. I feel like it should just be another clothing item because I feel like a lot of people were wanting another unisex sweater.
Something. I feel like a sweater is good, or like I still really want like little hats.
I know,
like either a beanie or like a baseball cap or trucker hat, like our Muskoka Forever. But like it's Saturday on it.
That would be
ISP.
Cool. Yeah. Let us know, guys, what you want because we're kind of itching for another merch drop soon. It's been a while, so
let us know.
100%.
And then I forget at what point we decided we would start to have guests on.
So our first guests were actually Farzad and Matt. So we had them on.
We were still filming here at that point.
Yeah. So it was like maybe our 10th episode or 13th, like something like that, 10 or 11. And we filmed it here, and we actually had 2 cameras set up, and we did like a Price is Right like section. Mm-hmm. We had like taste test. We did like a bunch of games. It was actually really fun.
Yeah, that was a really fun one.
If you want, go watch that. It's a good one to watch. It's not really a really audio episode, but
that was such a bitch to edit though. I remember having 2 cameras just changed everything. I was like, what the
We're not doing this again.
No, it was so hard. But then our first like real guest besides like our partners was Maddie from Ottawa, the Ottawa Diaries. So she's not from Ottawa, but she's the Ottawa Diaries. And that was a really cool moment too, because she's such like a influential person in the community, and like she's like so many followers as well. Not as well, we don't have so many, but she has so many followers. And I don't know, that just like kind of gave us a little taste of what it would be like to interview someone. And we're like, wait, this is kind of fun. And we know so many cool people. Like, why don't we start interviewing people that we know? And then eventually we started interviewing people that we've never even met.
We literally people we've never met. We would message them, or they would message us.
That was a cool moment. We used to like be like messaging people like, do you want to come on the pod? But when it got to the point where people were like, hey, can I come on your pod? I was like,
so many people messaging us. We actually had to say no to a few people because we were like,
or people that weren't like here. They were like in the States and stuff.
And we're not a Zoom podcast. I feel like we're just like this. It would just not be authentic, and it would be weird, and we're just not about that. So we're like, right now we're doing local. Maybe eventually we can do something else, but for now it's good. But we've had a total of 12 guests.
Okay, let's see if I can remember who they are. So there was Maddie, Cody Nickel,
Cody Nickel
was a mixologist, bar owner,
Red Bull, and we did it at his apartment.
That was fun,
and that was really fun.
Good drinks. Tasha, who is a therapist. We had Irina, who does real estate.
We had Haley staging. Who else?
Fahad, public speaker, Unicorn Labs CEO. Scott Whitaker, Fight for the Cure CEO, our most recent one.
Golden Girl, which is Summer, which is also really cool because we were on her page, and like she hadn't posted like a picture of herself, and I just didn't recognize her. But when she came over to my house, I like saw her, and I'm like, you look so familiar. And turns out we went to high school together. We weren't like close or anything, but like we actually went to the same high school.
So cool.
Such a small world. And then it was just cool to be like, hey, do you still know so and so, and like just catch up after. And that was a cool moment too, because it was like, just meeting someone
like her Instagram like blew up. So shout out to you. That's freaking sweet.
Yeah.
And then there's a few others.
Yeah.
But
those are the main ones.
I'm trying to think. Actually, then we went on a podcast too. Last September, we went on our first Smack Talk. Who it still exists. I checked the other day. I'm like, and he's having a kid.
Oh,
his girlfriend's pregnant.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. He had like 3 podcasts going, and also he was filming in like a studio, like a real studio.
Yeah, that was really cool to have that experience.
Yeah, that was actually really fun.
And then he like sends all the stuff to someone, and they edit all for him. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Good for you.
So lucky.
But I will say I felt like it was more stressful being the guest than being the interviewer.
Oh, 100%.
Because you can prepare when you're interviewing someone. Like me and Romina, she'll like make a doc for us. We'll like put questions in there. We like make our intro. We practice it. And we like have an idea of what the flow will be. But I feel like if you're the guest, unless the people send you the questions, which we do like right before, but you don't need to like...
You don't need to like practice it.
Yeah, it's just like have an idea, but like otherwise you don't really know what you're getting into. We had no idea what we were getting into.
No idea. I'm trying to think if there's any funny moments like with guests where I'm like, there's definitely, I find we've had guests that are way better at answering questions than others. No shade to our guests.
But I mean, like obviously Fahad, I would hope that he would be like good at public. He's a public speaker. So if he came on my podcast and shit the bed, I'd be like, what's going on? Yeah.
But no, all in all, it's been really cool, like networking experience. Some funny moments from just our episodes. I do love guest episodes, but I also just love when it's just us two because it's just like more chill.
Yeah, we're shooting the shit.
Some of our earlier episodes are still some of my favorite.
Yo, we were so we're still funny right now, but like I don't know, man. There were some clips like I
can listen to the earlier episodes, like the traveling pants, like the Subway stuff.
Subway one is so funny. When we guess each other's sub
sandwiches. We should repost that because I feel like nobody was following us then. That was really early on.
There was another one too, like it's like what do you do when your partner's away, like at home, and mine was like getting a Baconator.
Yes. Like. Taco Bell. Oh, it's so funny. And then just like some of the things that we disagreed on, which rarely ever happens, but like the noti notif thing.
Noti notif. I'm still a noti girl.
The tampon thing.
Dude, I mind going in the toilet every time now. Every time. Every single time.
And the toilet paper, like the way that you put it on. Yes. Where I was like, I don't really care. And you're like, no, it's this way.
You don't care?
Well, now I'm like, I make an effort.
I was at the cottage this weekend and I was switching the roles.
No.
I'll switch the role. Like if I'm staying there more than that one pee, I'm switching the way the toilet paper roll goes for sure.
It's crazy. And then other things that happen too is like we've actually got the opportunity to make like user generated content, UGC,
yes, which we had no idea what that was until we started doing it. And I still honestly, it's hard to explain, but it's basically like when companies, instead of hiring like the Kardashians or these famous celebrities where they'd have to pay them like millions and millions of dollars, they hire just regular content creators like us and they pay you way less to make content, but then that way they can like sprinkle it out and then like use them to like promote their products or whatever it is they're promoting.
Exactly.
And obviously we're going to do that.
Exactly. So we got approached by different brands, but the brands, like the companies that we worked for, guys, it was so funny at the beginning because we had no idea what we were doing. Like they're like, we had to look up like, what is UGC? Yeah. Oh, okay. It's user generated. So we have to make it. They would give us kind of an outline of like, okay, this is the company. This is what they do. And then come up with an idea for how you would promote
like
this.
Like a script.
Like brainstorm some scripts.
Like in less than 30 seconds. Yeah. Right.
So then you would submit the script and then they would read it and approve it. And then we would have to film it. And then sometimes we would send it in. They'd be like, actually, can you refilm this?
Yeah.
So we would do it. Sometimes it would get a little bit annoying.
There was one that was like, they were really rude. I remember we just like, were like, fuck this. We're not doing this anymore.
No,
like,
we literally didn't pay. We were like, you know what? This is not worth it. We're not going to do this.
You don't align with our values.
Yeah.
But there were some that were really fun and really funny. And like, I will tell you guys, like a lot of them were for like gambling apps. and then just games. There
like
was
phone
one
games.
There was one. What was Dice Life?
Yes.
Okay, guys, we did this one for Dice Life, and it's like this kind of like this harvesting kind of game, and like you like have to make crops, and you have to wait for them to like bloom, and then you like harvest them, and then you sell them, and like for research purposes, I was like, I'm just gonna play this game a little bit. Romina did too. But let me tell you, I got so into this game, you guys.
Guys, okay, at one point I'm like, is this for research or do you actually just love this game?
Yo.
Like, I'd be at her house and then I'm like, what are you doing over there? And she's literally like, oh, I'm about to win this level. And I'm like, oh, it's not user generated content. It's like this girl has like knows the app in and out. Like she's been using it.
But let me tell you, the saddest day of my life was when this app got discontinued. Because after we made the content, we got paid. I'm still playing this game because I'm like, Dice Life is my life now. Like I love it. And then they're like, yeah, this app is going to be like terminated in like 30 days. And I was like, all my crops that I worked on for us 4 weeks are going to be gone.
And like I remember the video that we made for these guys. Okay, first of all, I went to the dollar store because we have to like buy props for this thing, and I bought one of those like massive dice, like the ones that you like kids use, the jumbo ones. And I'm like, okay, we're gonna use this, and we would like remember you would throw it. We made a video where you threw it, and then all of a sudden eggs would appear.
Yes,
and you threw it, and then like tomatoes would appear.
I wonder if there's like another game like that exists, because it was so fun. It was like you want to be like the king, the township king or something. I don't know, man.
And we got crowns, and we were just anyway.
It was so fun.
So if you guys ever saw these videos, you would actually cringe and be like, "What is this?" But they loved it. They loved it when we were extra theatrical.
Yeah, they liked it.
Yeah, they liked
it.
And you know what? We had to make money somehow to pay for all these subscriptions for these.
Our Canva subscription, our CapCut subscription.
Yeah.
Then some other kind of experience that we got is then we got approached to do some man on the street kind of videos, which was like very, very different from like being in the comfort of your own home. And well, yes, it was still scripted, and we recruited like some of our friends. Like we're all
sure you say these words, and it like has to be exactly as written. Like you can't say it differently. And that was the part that really messed with us. It was like if like you miss like like we'd have to restart
.com or .ca, or like they're like some of them were tongue twisters. And that one ended up being way more work than we thought it was gonna be, and I wish they paid us more than what they did, because that took a lot of time to like edit like all those different videos together.
I think that one of the experiences or like lessons learned was at the beginning we were just like, oh my god, someone's gonna pay us to make this, and we were charging pretty low, and also we had to split it, right? So then we were like, we started asking for a lot more, because we're like, you know what, the amount of time that actually ends up going into it, you think it's gonna be like this just make a video. It sounds like it would take like 2 hours, but it ends up being like
sometimes it takes a lot longer,
you know. And then you're like, wait, if you do it by hourly, you're actually not making much money. So
but what I do like even more, I like more than making these videos and getting paid, is when we actually get like PR packages or just like free stuff from local brands that like it's very minimal commitment. It's like they send us something, we try it out, and if we like it, we talk about it. Like I love that.
That's way more fun for me.
We've gotten like makeup, we've gotten active wear,
we've got alcohol,
vegetables,
shoes.
I still haven't used my new Dr. Scholl's yet.
Me either.
I'm super excited for those. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff where I'm like, you know what? I didn't go really into this pod to like make money or even get free stuff, but like
that's fun.
It's just nice to get like free little things sometimes.
And I will say, if you're like kind of like trying to be an influencer, trying to make content, and you're like, I don't have that many followers. We don't have that many followers. And I will say, it's not about how many, it's about your engagement. It's about who follows you. So if like you're big in like a certain area, that's actually more important to brands versus like, I don't know, you live in, I don't know, Timbuktu, but then you have like 10,000 followers, but they're all bots. Like, I feel like the quality of your followers actually matters.
It does.
And if you're like kind of like trying to start this out, I would just say message like cold, like DM different companies and be like, hey, do you want to work together? Because we did that for a bit. It actually worked for a few of the companies. So
it doesn't hurt to cold call.
Yeah.
And then it's fun too, because yes, we usually film at Romina's house, or sometimes we'll still film here at my house, but we've filmed in like Toronto at the cottage, like Mont Tremblant. And by cottage, I mean like one that was, I think it was Prince Edward County or somewhere, which is like some of our with some of our friends, and it's just fun to like bring our friend group into it. And like our friends have been like the most supportive. Like shout out to all of you guys. We love you so much, and to just like include you in those little moments is so fun.
It's so fun. And I will say too, it's fun to go back and watch those episodes. I'm so happy that we have like this like diary of memories.
Yeah, and like we have such a creative friend group. When you like really break it down, I think that's also so cool, and we're so lucky.
Yeah, I agree. We're all doing really fun things. But yeah, filming in other locations is fun, but it's also kind of stressful because we had to bring so much equipment with us everywhere we went, and we'd be like, all right, we have to set. It's always the most random videos that go viral. Like, it's not the ones that you think are gonna go viral.
I remember even too, like one of our first like experience with trolls was early on when we made a reel, and it was about like making the bed or picking up our dog's shit. Like I'm like, really, that's the video that people are getting so worked up over. Like people were so funny.
And then it was funny too because like obviously we made a video about like Taylor Swift carbon emission usage, and like people were just, I knew it like she had fans, but these people were going hard. Like yeah, it was just, it's just funny because you read the comments, and like I understand now when celebrities are like, don't read the comments and like the comment section, because sometimes I would read them like, damn, these people are kind of mean. Like they would actually start to be pretty mean, and I'm like, okay,
I don't read them.
No, too much. It's too much. But
but it's still a very cool milestone.
100%.
And I love that for us. Another cool milestone is, I don't know if we ever even mentioned this to you guys. I can't remember because we had to keep it a secret for a long time when we were doing it, like 6 months. But we got approached like the first year we did the pod. So they started the pod in August. And I remember like I was at the gym when you like FaceTimed me or called me, because we got approached by a producer for The Amazing Race being like, hey, you guys seem like a great duo. Like love your energy. We think you'd be good on the show. Like this is the process. Like you guys should apply.
Yeah, please apply. Like I think like you guys would be great. And I'm like, is this for real?
Yeah.
Because we got an email and I was like, is this a scam? And then no, because they also messaged us on Instagram. So I was like, hey, this is real. And I like freaked out, called Tash. I'm like, oh my God. So then we quickly put an application together, and it was a video application.
Yeah. And we had like a few weeks to do it.
Yeah.
And I loved our video application. I thought we did a play on like the pod, and we talked about like why would be good, like what our characteristics are like. And literally before the deadline, we sent it in a few days early. And I remember before the deadline was even due, they reached out to us and they're like, you made it to the next round.
Yeah.
Congrats. Like this is the next step. Like it was a written application. But some of those questions we had already like answered in our first initial application, because with the video we also sent in a written part.
Yeah, and I feel like these questions were way more specific to Amazing Race. And like I watched Amazing Race USA like years ago, and we were kind of like, some of the questions I feel like we didn't get. We were just like, I don't really get what this pass is or what this move is on Amazing Race.
No, we studied it after once we did the first application and we got accepted to the next round. We split up seasons, you guys, and I remember watching this and writing notes about the different challenges.
I still have my notes.
Yeah.
Like we were like, it was like a homework assignment. We'd be like, okay, tonight I'm watching episodes 5, 6, and 7, and you watch this. And we were like typing it out about what they did and like writing down strategy and all this stuff. And then anyway, so we put in we got to the second round, and then they were like, okay, we're going to let you know if you guys have to come to Montreal for the casting where you guys get to meet us in January. In January. And we were kind of freaking out too, because it was also the same.
Hey guys.
Hey, we're just trying to see if we need to go to Montreal.
Yeah, do I cancel this train ride? Like, or we just want to plan accordingly.
Yeah.
Didn't even have the decency to be like, no, bitch, you're not in. We picked the lesbian couple over you or some shit.
We picked the guy with no leg or something.
No,
we were just like, hey, like, just trying to see if we're trying to go.
Anyway, so that didn't work out.
Yeah,
but
devastating.
Devastating. I honestly think we would have been so bad at reading maps, Romina. Like being in Italy, and like whenever like people would be like, "Okay, Tash, you lead now." I'm like,
no, guys, this is okay.
Like I'm so
you guys
bad.
are gonna laugh at this, but like we were okay. So on a side of just like studying for the episodes, like we were watching the episodes. I went to Farzad's parents' house because they're people that like never throw things out. Like they keep like random things, and so I knew that they had this collection of maps from the city. So I went to their house and I took like literally 5 different books of maps, and I'm like going home and I'm trying to understand how to read a map and like navigate using a map.
Whenever someone has the audacity, when I'll be like, "Oh, like where? What do you mean? Like where's that museum?" They're like, "Oh, you know, it's just like Southwest." I'm like,
what?
I don't know. I literally don't even know where. Does the sun rise in the east or the west?
Like what is going on?
Do you know?
The north? I don't
know.
know.
It's the east or the. Is it the north?
I actually don't know.
Where the sun? It's not the north. It's just. I think it's the east and the west.
I just know that everyone's always trying to find north, and I'm like, I don't know.
I actually couldn't for the life of me. If you're like point north, I'd be like, well, just shoot me now. I don't know.
If I don't have a GPS on, I'm driving like I'm just confused. I don't know where it is.
Don't tell me north, south, east, west. I don't know.
No.
Never eat shredded wheat. Whatever.
No. All I know is that when I was reading this map, I was so confused because it literally shows you like little lines of like, this is now you're on a highway and you have to go this way and this is the exit, and it doesn't not make sense of how you're supposed to know which way to go.
I actually have so much respect for my elders and the fact that they use maps.
Like literally,
I like when I went on a cross country road trip with my parents, like from Ottawa to Vancouver, like they just used a map.
Same. I remember telling my dad, like,
I go the wrong way with the GPS. Like, I take the wrong turn with the GPS. I'd be like, here is like rerouting. I'm like, man, I really thought that was
maybe you know what it is. You know what it is? I think our application was so good that they were like, these girls are like, we need someone that's gonna mess up a few times. It's gonna be funny.
And then when I saw the couples they picked, I was like,
who are these
really?
people?
That was the pretty couple over us? I'm like, whatever.
So anyway, we didn't get chosen for the Amazing Race, and then you know what? We were like, hey, there's this like Sephora squad. Actually, you know what happened? Yeah. We reached out to Sephora because we were like on this like just ask. Like that was our motto.
Applied everything.
So we were messaging a bunch of different brands, and we messaged Sephora Canada, and we were just like, hey, like want to work together? And they were like, actually, our Sephora squad applications just got like released. We think you guys would be a great fit. Like here, submit it. And we're like, okay, sure. So we literally submit for Sephora squad. We're not like makeup influencers at all, but we're like, you know what? Maybe, but like I'm not filming myself doing it that much. But anyway, I remember we were trying
a little bit,
because we were submitting this application. I'm like, we have zero like any content related to makeup. So I like film like 2 videos of me doing my makeup.
This is my cookie highlighter. Look at this.
Anyway, so we applied for that, and it was really nice because we had to get testimonials from our followers or our friends and family, and people actually like we got a lot.
That was really sweet.
I forgot really
we did that.
Very, very nice. So that was that. And then another kind of milestone was working with Sandra.
Yes,
I love
Sandra.
She was our photographer. Well, not our photographer, but we worked with her, and she was amazing.
Some branding photo shoots, which even, and again, like before having the pod, like if you said branding photo shoot, I've been like, what? Like, do you really need that? But it actually helps so much to have pictures of your brand and you doing your work, whether that's for your portfolio, for your website, for your Instagram, for your business card, like whatever it is, like it's so helpful.
It was. And then we did even more of a fun one in the summer, which was really fun.
Yeah, we did one here at my pool, and that was really fun. I know she wanted to do a Christmas one, and like I would still love to do that. I wonder if she'd still be down because
100%.
She's great energy. She like made us feel super comfortable. We were like drinking champagne. It was really
actually
fun.
a really fun day. I remember having so much fun. And then I guess like the other things were just like this year, obviously we did Fight for the Cure. We did Thirsty Peddler one year. We did 4 wheelies.
Oh my God. Beer fest.
We've done a lot of events with the pod, so that's been fun.
4 wheelies. Oh my God. Yeah.
That was funny. The skate park.
We loved that. That was really good. And also I feel like it got us just more involved like in the community in that sense. Just going and trying out these things that maybe we wouldn't normally have done.
100%.
And then it's also funny too. I remember like we used to like hyper fixate on posting like every day because you think like if you have to post a lot, to get a lot of like traction, to get a lot of engagement, which like kind of at the beginning is true. Like it was, I'm glad we did post a lot every day because like we were always on your feed, whether you liked it or not. You were going to see an aesthetic post from us or a reel from us, and like you saw a Saturday pod on your feed up every single day. But then I feel like it took a while. Like it was like almost 2 years. Like it was what, like this past summer when we were going on our trips, like we were going to Italy, and we're like, it's just not realistic.
Even before that, I feel like we had like a lot of like things coming up, and we're like, do we have to post every single day? Especially some of the other posts, like not our reels, but some of the other kind of like pictures that are cute. Yeah. Like, I'm like, are people even like, do you even care about these? So I think we've really like taken a step back and been like, okay, let's only post when it's like feels right. And it also just like is content that I would want to see and not just like a random picture, I feel like. Yeah. So that's been kind of our new approach, and I feel like it's been good. We've been getting like engagement.
Like we used to have a schedule that we made on Notion, which is an app that we use as well to like help organize ourselves, but we're like full of memory for that. So now we're like, okay, now we're back to notes on our iPhone, I guess.
It's crazy how much memory you need to like run a podcast. Like we have two like massive hard drives, terabytes. Literally filled, and then we have like memory cards on memory cards. We have all this storage. We're paying for like drive access, like all this stuff.
My phone memory too from all of our pictures. Anyway, we highly recommend Notion for like certain aspects of it. But yeah, we like had this like posting schedule, and we would like take turns and like filling up for like the coming weeks or the month, like who's posting when and what and this and that. And like that was actually really good, and that was like great to keep us organized when we didn't really know like what our flow was. But now that we have more of a flow state and we don't need to do that, it's kind of nice to take that pressure off of us to have to plan that far ahead. And like I'm just kind of like, hey, I'm posting the reel today. Or like, hey, I'm gonna post this today. Like, okay, cool. Like da da da. Like it's more lax now, and I like that.
I like that too. And also we have to remember we started this for fun, and it's like I feel like sometimes we are so strict with ourselves, and then sometimes I'm like, this is not a job.
Yeah, exactly. It's and we're only worried about almost letting each other down, but we're both like, it's fine. like it's really fine.
It's literally just
like
us.
We're doing this for fun.
Yeah. But I will say there was a few like Saturdays we like maybe posted like kind of a reoccurring episode, like an old episode, and people did reach out being like, where's the new episode? So I'm like, oh, or actually I forget sometimes that people listen to this, you know?
And then too, but like going into Italy, we recorded a couple minis, which I really liked, because sometimes it's fun to just bop in with a topic, whether that was like the bridal talk, makeup, like travel tips, whatever, and just like dive into that topic for like 20-30 minutes. I still would like to continue to do those. Same. I really liked those.
If you guys have any topics for Saturday minis that you think would be good, just literally comment or send us a DM or whatever, because I think it would be good to keep it going. Maybe we can have a Christmas one about like pressures of Christmas.
And like talking family and gifts
and all that.
Yeah,
that'd be a good one. I feel like
that could be a fun one. A nice mini for Christmas.
Yeah, so I like Saturday minis. It's like a topic that we'll definitely keep going.
100%.
One thing I wanted to talk about that I feel like it's pretty universally felt across people who maybe have like a public platform is the whole thing about navigating like public scrutiny when it comes to posting publicly, and then also like the issue of like oversharing. So how much do we share?
Yeah.
And also because it isn't our full-time jobs, sometimes it's like I always have like, oh, should I be posting that because my future employer or like my current employer can see it, or you know, like I'm in school and you're a teacher, so sometimes it's like you have these views that you're like, should I be posting this publicly for everyone to see? And that's something that we've definitely had to navigate.
Like we kind of would make a joke before, we felt kind of like these Hannah Montana situations, especially because we were starting the pod at a time I was starting at a new school. So I was just like trying to figure out like, who are my friends there? Who are my colleagues there? And like, we're starting this podcast. And like, I remember when people would slowly just like start to find out about it. And I remember at the beginning, like that made me so scared and nervous. But now when someone tells me about the pod, I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh my God, like thanks. Because I feel like now that we've been doing it for so long, it's not just this like one-off thing. Like it's something we've built, like I'm really proud of.
Same.
And I feel like we've just navigated like being able to talk about lighthearted things and serious things like really well. Yeah. So yeah, I remember like being so afraid, but now I'm like, what are you gonna do? Fire me?
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
You need me more than I need you.
This is the weekend, okay?
This is Saturday.
This is Saturday.
Okay? And like when it comes down to it, like we're not like raunchy, we're not inappropriate. Like, yes, we like to drink and we like to hang out with our friends, but like
that's not illegal.
And it's not illegal. And if you don't, that's fine. But chances are, if you're listening, you do.
Yeah.
So those that like vibe with us will be here and they'll be listening. And if they don't, then go listen to another podcast.
And I do find too, like obviously, like people who watch our clips, like there are people like, thousands of people that see our clips, and that's different than like the full length episodes.
Yeah.
So the people who are listening, like you guys, like listening to these full length episodes are going to be a different demographic than the people that are like just watching a 30-second clip.
Oh my gosh. And I will say I've definitely like had like some parents of my students be like, because now sometimes we'll get reposted by like 613 Trending or like whatever, and they have a way bigger platform than us. And they'd be like, hey, like it's Saturday, like I saw you. And like, but their response was so positive. So I was like, okay, wait, if you guys are like being like, yeah, like you go girl. I'm like, okay, clearly like it's fine.
100%. And I do find, I remember this vividly. Like someone reached out to us saying like they had just had a baby and they were listening to the podcast and it was like really helped them kind of, I don't know, just like have something fun to do while they were just like navigating mom life. Yeah,
their babies.
And that's how I listen to podcasts. Like I'm like getting ready, cleaning my house, like walking my dog, and I just want to like listen to people talk.
Yeah, I like that. I like listening to people talk.
Same.
And I feel like we're fun to listen to.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, I also did want to say that, and I kind of mentioned on it before, but just like all the love and support that we feel from our friends, like I feel like it's the same like core people that are listening in like every week and like sending me snaps or like texting me about topics we're talking about. Like that doesn't like, we don't take that lightly and it doesn't go overlooked. Like that's like the reason why we do it. So I just wanted to, from both of us, just be like, thank you so much for listening and engaging with the content and engaging with us. Like, it's just so amazing.
And
it's
people
so
who
nice.
respond to our polls, thank you.
Oh my god, I know.
You guys are so
honestly,
nice.
More people respond to our polls, guys.
Yeah.
Like I love when you respond to our polls.
I know.
I want to hear what you have to say.
I really like it. And if you are someone who like listens every week or maybe you don't listen every week and you're literally new and you're like, who are these girls? Write us a review because it really helps.
Please.
It really does help. Or rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, wherever you listen.
Yeah, and if you're listening to us and you're one of the people that gave us a 1-star review,
it's not going to be the people that listen. We know who those people are.
I was gonna say, move on.
We know you are.
Move the frank on, okay?
Oh my god. Okay, so should we get into some advice questions? So some people wrote in some topics or advice that they wanted. So some advice for the Saturdays.
Yeah. So one of them was living with your partner for the first time.
Oh, this is tricky. I will say, if you've never lived with a guy, this is going to be a shock because, and if you're a girl listening, if you've never lived with a guy, that's going to be a shock because typically girls are going to be more clean and like they're just going to have a way of doing things.
Yeah. But I will argue though, I feel like there are also like some girls and some roommates that can be like so messy.
Yes.
So it really just depends. But yeah, I'd say like more on average, usually you probably are going to be the cleaner out of the two.
And I do think that like moving in with someone for the first time, like you have a way of doing things that is going to be like, you have like a flow, you have a schedule, you have like a routine, and sometimes it might clash at the beginning because like your routine maybe it doesn't match up with your partner's routine or the way that they do things.
Are you a morning person or a night person?
Do you put away your dishes right away or do you put them in the sink?
Oh my god.
Do you put down the toilet seat after you pee? Like what way are you putting the toilet paper? Like these are all little things.
Wow.
So
blow my mind. I will say though, like it was kind of cool. Like for Matt and I, like we actually lived with another couple first before we moved in, just us.
Right.
So I felt like that was a good little segue, and I'm really thankful for that experience. Because it just like was just a little like dipping my toe in the water before I fucking dove head in. Yeah. So I feel like that was good for us.
That's good. I do think like, I don't know how people get married without living with their partner first.
I know. I feel like that's your chances of having a divorce are higher.
No, 100%.
Because you need to know.
You need to know.
Because it's either going to work or it's not. And like the chances of like one of you like changing drastically. I'm like drastically. What? I'm tired. Drastically are like pretty slim. So, because I feel like at that point when you move in and you're like in your early mid to late 20s, like you are who you are. Like Matt will always leave the doors open, like this closet door, and that's just who he is. And at first I would like shut the door, and then I just accepted like he's just the kind of guy that's gonna leave the closet door open, and who cares?
Who cares?
Like, I'll just if I go by, I'll shut it. If I need the door shut, then I'll just go shut it, and it's not a big deal. It's about compromise in those weird tiny little ways.
Like I remember too, like even early on, Farzad's like he would leave his clothes just like on the dresser, like on a specific area, and he would just like not fold them and put them away. And at the beginning I was just kind of like, I'm gonna do it for him, and I was like putting away all his clothes, and then I started to kind of resent him. Like, you're never putting away your clothes.
No.
So then what I started to do, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just going to leave his clothes because those are his clothes, and I'm going to put away my clothes. And then his clothes would start to pile up and it would frustrate me. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. But then I realized like he just takes longer to put them away, but he would eventually put them away.
Pile of doom.
Yeah.
Pile of doom.
I feel like all guys have this pile of doom.
A lot of people have a pile of doom.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say something to that point and now I can't remember.
But I do find like, living with your partner for the first time, there's going to be a lot of hiccups, but just like push through. Yeah.
I will give advice, guys. Living together, separate laundry baskets. Matt and I have separate laundry baskets, and I don't do his laundry. And here and there, I'll pick up after him whatever stuff's on the floor. But I feel like as women, we don't want to like be with someone that we're constantly always cleaning up after, because it kind of takes away from your like desire of that person. It's like, and having like a child, which like you obviously don't want. So it's just like making sure to find ways where it's okay. Obviously you help each other out, you pick up his stuff here and there, it's fine. But if you are always doing it, then that's when it becomes a problem and the resentment starts. So it's just making sure you navigate that and set clear expectations of like what is your limit in that sense,
and setting your own like, so let's say me and Farzad have tasks or chores that we each do. So like if I'm cooking, like, and I'm usually the one cooking, he's always the one cleaning, or like cleaning up the kitchen after. So just knowing that, like, he's taking out the garbage, he's doing that kind of stuff. So we have our like jobs that we do.
Pink jobs and blue jobs.
Yeah, honestly, pink jobs and blue jobs.
Okay, there's more questions that you guys sent in, but this is getting kind of long now. So I feel like we just talked on a little pause there. I love it. It's helped me in so many ways, and even just for my own fucking mental health, you guys. Sometimes, like, for example, even tonight, guys, like, I came back from Vancouver, had a crazy ass travel day, had no sleep. I've been so tired, felt like a zombie all week. And Romina was like, do you want to record next week? I'm like, no, I just want to record because I know I always feel better. Yeah. And I'm leaving here Matt's probably like, whoa, like, who is this girl? Like, he hasn't seen me act like this all week. He's been seeing like grumpy, tired Tash. So
this is our therapy.
Really, it's our therapy, and it just puts me in such a good mood. And obviously, I'm so happy I get to see you at least once a week. So
literally, I was like,
I'm never bored of you or sick of you.
I would be like, so sad if I didn't get to see you every week. I would be like, wait,
I'd be like, feel like
hello?
a part of me is missing.
Can we hang out?
What's going on?
No. Okay, we love you guys, and thank you for tuning in week after week, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.